Hello everyone, welcome to Katala. Today we're going to be looking at listing outcomes, and when it comes to listing outcomes there's what we call systematic way of doing it. So just a slightly logical way of breaking these down so you're not going to lose track as easily of where you're at when you come to listing these types of questions. So getting started with question number 1, it says I flip a coin and then roll a 6-sided dice. List all of the possible outcomes. So we've got to list all the possible things that could happen. Okay, so we're flipping a coin and rolling a 6-sided dice. Let's think about those two events first. So flipping a coin to start off with. Now when you flip a coin, you can either get heads or a tails, which we're just going to abbreviate with H and T. And a 6-sided dice, okay, 6-sided dice that we're rolling, we can either get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Okay, so let's think about all the possibilities, all of the outcomes that we could eventually end up with. So the way I like to break these down is I just focus on the first event and break it down one part at a time. So let's just say we've got heads when we flip the coin. So we've got heads when we flip the coin. Now if we got heads when we flip the coin, we could then get a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5 and 6. And when it comes to listing numbers, so that you don't lose a track so easily of where you're at, I like to start with the smallest and then work my way up to the largest. So we threw a heads and then we got a 1, the smallest possible number. We roll that dice. Next up, we'll stick with heads. We get a 2, still staying with heads, a 3, a 4, a 5 and a 6. Those are all the possible outcomes if we had landed on heads with the flip of the coin. And then we go and look what happens when we throw a tails. And in exactly the same way, we could get a tails and a 1, tails and a 2, tails and 3, all the way up to 6 once more. And so these are all of the possible 12 outcomes in this scenario here. Okay. Next up, question number 2. So Katie is going to buy a sandwich from a sandwich shop. For her sandwich, she can choose the type of bread and one filling. The sandwich shop offers the following options. So the types of bread we've got, just brown and white, and we've got 3 different fillings on offer: ham, marmite and cheese. So list all of the possible sandwich varieties. So remember, we're picking what type of bread we want and one filling, just one filling. So let's go with brown bread first. So we'll just abbreviate that to B. We could choose brown bread with ham, brown bread with marmite and brown with cheese. And moving on to the white bread, we could choose white with ham, white with marmite and white with cheese. And that would be all the possible outcomes. Question number 3. So list all of the 3-digit numbers we could make using the following number cards. And earlier on I said that when it comes to listing numbers, I like to start with the smallest and work my way up to the biggest. So the first of the 3 digits, we'll start with the smallest first, would have to be 1. The next digit would then have to be 3, and the last digit would have to be 6. And there's going to be another number beginning with 1, and that would be 1, 6, 3. And if you think about it, that's all of the numbers that start with a 1. There's no other 3-digit numbers you can think of, or you can make just using those 3 number cards in front of you. Next up would be the 3 as the first number, and the next smallest number would be 1 and finished up with a 6, and the other beginning with a 3 would be 3, 6, 1. So it's really not too difficult once you get in the swing of doing these. It's just about doing it in a methodical, rational way so that you don't lose track of where you're at. And so finally, we've done the ones beginning with 1, we've done the ones beginning with 3, and now we need to do the ones beginning with 6. So 6, 1, 3, 6, 3, 1. And so these here would be all the possible combinations of these 3 numbers. Lastly, so Jake writes down a number between 1 and 3. Tom writes down a number between 4 and 6. The 2 numbers are then added together to get a total. List all of the possible totals. So before we think about the totals, let's just think of all the different varieties, all the different options we could end up with. So let's assume that Jake writes down a 1 to start off with. So he writes down a 1, and the smallest number Tom could write down would be a 4. Sticking with Jake picking 1, we could have 1, and then Tom would pick a 5, and 1, and 6. Okay, and remember, we're adding these numbers together. It says here, to get a total, we're adding these two numbers together. So we'd have 1 plus 4, 1 plus 5, and 1 plus 6 would be the totals in this case. And we'll work out what those are in just a minute. We're just going to get all of the outcomes written down first. Next up, let's say Jake chose a 2. Then we'd have 2 and 4, 2 and 5, 2 and 6, just like we did for 1, the 4, 5 and 6. And lastly, we'll do it for 3. So 3 and 4, 3 and 5, 3 and 6. And so now we're going to have to add all these up to get the different totals we could end up with. So 1 plus 4 would be 5, 1 plus 5 is 6, 1 plus 6 is 7. 2 plus 4 is 6, 2 plus 5 is 7, 2 plus 6 is 8, 3 plus 4 is 7, 3 plus 5 is 8, 3 plus 6 is 9. And you'll see there's a few repeats in here. You can see how we've got 6's repeating, 7's repeating all the way through, 8's repeating, and then there's a single 9 and a single 5 at the very beginning. So the different totals that we could possibly get would be 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. These are the different totals we could end up with. And there we have it. That's how we list outcomes. So hopefully, looking at those few examples there, we've managed to clear that all up for you. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care. Thanks again for watching. For more great resources to help build your confidence and ace your exams, feel free to head over to www.katala.co.uk, where you can sign up for free today. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or suggestions, just comment down below. Thank you.